Hey everybody, it's Eric, the owner of Farpoint Farms here in the beautiful mountains of North Carolina. As you can see in the picture today, spring is starting to pop. We have leaves on some of the trees at the lower elevations. Up here at the house, still just starting to bud out, but down at the very bottom where the driveway is, trees. There's almost like real leaves on real trees. So good to see y'all in here. Looks like we got 12 of you here to start the show off tonight. And I'm happy to hear that. David Kingsman was talking to me before the show officially started about his Uniden PC 122 XL. A great radio, I believe. Isn't that like literally the same board as the Grant LT or GT? I think it is, or Grant XL. I can't remember, but it's either is or it's darn close. And I think that Cobra had one that was really similar that I owned two of for a while, but I can't think of the model number. It was a more compact version of the 148, but I can't remember the name of that. Anyway, good to see y'all in here. Jordan B, hello from Southern California, where it's 100 degrees. 100 degrees. Holy cow, man. We are not there. We're in the low 50s here today. Lots of rain last couple days. Been really slowing down progress here on the farm. Too much mud makes it difficult to do any planting or tilling, that kind of stuff. So, but man, 100 degrees already. That's going to make for one hot summer, man. Daniel, I was also pointing out uppers and lowers added to it. So I don't know where you're at, Daniel, but I'm curious, and like I had a conversation on uppers or lowers, man. David G, good to see you in here, man. Hope things are going well up in New Hampshire. Scooter 55, let's get her done. Right on, brother. Ziga, good evening, good evening. Good to see y'all in here. James Manning II, hello to you. Tex Pat, hello, guys. How you doing? Rudy Maraca, hey, Eric, what are they going to have the President Trump radio? Well, I do not know. We have talked about it. But let's do a little bit of thinking here. We do have the bill. Now I don't know officially if that's the Bill Clinton or just the bill, but it's if that is, we're only a few away. But in order to get there, we got to go through some bumps in the road, don't we? I'll leave it at that. We try not to make this a political conversation. Ryan, hello from Wheeling, West Virginia. Tuned up the Craftsman GT 5000 this week and use one of your videos for some great tips. Man, I'm glad to hear that, dude. I'm glad to hear that. Mike Cricket, hello, man. The sun is staying out later and later. Yeah, it is. We went to lock up the critters the other night, and it's amazing how spring sneaks up on us, and then summer will be here in no time, man. No time. Yeah, Daniel, you're living in Connecticut by the ocean, right on. So interesting. I stayed in Connecticut for about 6 months. I can't remember. I think it was Norwalk, Connecticut. Stayed there for a little while when I was young, and what do they call that? Sowing my wild oats, I think they would call that, man. It was a wild time to be alive, man. Zika, do you have any plans for the Poor Man's Cookbook? I really enjoy videos like that. You, sir, are the only person, but thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. I do actually have some Poor Man's Cookbook stuff planned. Uh, I film videos so sporadically. It's so weird. Like I'll have a weekend where I shoot 5 or 6 videos, and then I might go a week or a week and a half where I'm just so darn busy that it really does take a lot of time to stop and create a video. When you're filming, it would be cool if it was just like a camera on your head and then you just did the work. But setting a camera up, stopping, making sure that it gets the footage when I do repairs, or in the case that you're talking about, food stuff is kind of easier actually to film than repair work or those kind of videos. So yeah, I do definitely have some more plans. So hang in there. Hey, Mower Junkie, good to see you. Good evening. AJ Evans, hey man, thanks for sharing all the wisdom. Well, thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. Good to see you in here. I don't think we've spoken before, AJ, so great. Good to see you, man. And Jeff, I don't think I've talked to you either. Jeff Robles, hello from Leesburg, Florida, man. How's things down in Florida, my friend? Tex Pat wants to know what happened to Midnight Cafe. It's gone to private mode for a while, and yeah, I think I'm going to leave it at that for right now. I'm just going to leave it at that. It's gone to private mode. Nothing is ever dead forever in this world, but for right now, the Midnight Cafe and my association with Rock and Moody has gone into hiatus, much like it did last October. So I don't think that Rock and Woody will be returning, but you never know. Rock and Woody's got a lot going on in his life, so he kind of comes and goes when he wants to. And we try to fill him in and make him part of the family when he does show up. So that's it. David G, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons. Yeah, man, thank you very much. If this is your first time in here, hopefully you will hit the like button. Hopefully you will subscribe to the channel. It's an interesting channel. It's not like watching one particular show. It's like watching a channel that gets lots of different shows. So for some of you, you may not like the cooking videos or the lawnmower videos. You might like the radio videos. But there's a little of everything, and I always get around to making more of each of them. So hang in there. Michael Root, how you doing, buddy? I haven't seen you in a couple. How is the VW truck running? It's running great. I just wish I had someplace to take it. I am actually going to town, going to my job that is currently closed for the remainder of this month and next month, looks like. And I'm gonna be going in there doing some cleanup and stuff. And I'm thinking about taking the old truck and taking it for a spin because she really hasn't seen the road much. I didn't want to take it out when there was salt on the road because it's a true survivor. But everything is washed off and cleaned off now, so I think it's safe. So I'm going to take it for a cruise into town. I'm actually picking up some Volkswagen parts from a guy here in the area, and I've been promising I'd swing by and show him that stuff too. So hopefully he'll get a kick out of that. John Doe, are you going to beef up the frame on that lawnmower? I've been reading the frame is weak and not made for a Johnny bucket. Yes, I am going to beef up the frame on that, and I've made some videos since the video that I put out this morning. A lot has changed with that tractor, but I have not done any welding or custom brackets for it yet. But yeah, it is on my list of things to strengthen the frame a bit. It does flex some, so when I put the spacers on it, by spacing it out, it's much more stable on hills, but you do feel the frame twist, and it is unfortunate that they went with such a thin gauge of steel for a garden tractor. But you know what, man? If you're creative, I think anything is doable. So I'm not too worried about that. I am planning on doing some pretty cool stuff to it, and I have already done some pretty cool stuff. So stay tuned for that. Night Stalker, how you doing, man? Great channel, my friend. Love your property and the content. More CB stuff, please. So good news there. I finally have some new CB stuff to share with y'all, thanks to a generous donation from Dallas Rife, who he gave me that RCI radio a couple years back, the RCI 10 meter, 12 meter that I use here, and it actually got shipped off for repairs. And when it came back with a Radio Shack base station, the Radio Shack TRC 495, which I think was Radio Shack's last base station. And I've got that set up in the house right now with that new antenna. So I'll be making a part 2 to the tram. What is it, 1411 antenna, and of course of the Radio Shack radio. Working great so far. And I also picked up on eBay a little lot of radios. So there's 2 Radio Shack like portable radios and a really unique 2 meter that I already had. I just never made a video on it, so I've got that. And I also got a Retrievus, I think it's called. They sent me some walkie-talkies to test out, so I haven't heard from them in over about a year and a half, but they contacted me and they had a little pair of walkie-talkies they wanted me to check out, and I'm always happy to play with stuff like that, so here it is. Hey, 9mm AR man, he's here. It's okay to start. There you go, buddy. 741, good to see you in here, my friend. Nice to see you again. Text Pat, sorry to hear about him. Thanks for the update. Yeah, Woody's an interesting guy. He's got a lot going on in his life, and unfortunately, just a lot of turmoil in that dude's life. So it's unfortunate that these things happen, but they kind of happen, and I've come to deal with that and understand that at this point. But the Midnight Cafe will probably come back at some point. I would say, maybe over the summer, late summer, something like that. It probably will not come back with Rockin' Woody, but I'll bring back that show as an independent show. So. Moya Vapor. I'm going to buy an SSB base station and antenna with my stimulus money, and I want to buy USA made. Any recommendations? I don't know that anybody makes anything in America anymore. President makes their stuff in France. I think Antron no longer makes their antennas in America. Mako, maybe? I'm not sure. Moya, I did have a question. I think you had popped back out when I asked this, but you had left the first message in here. Moya, if I am correct, is a very rare Japanese, it usually happens to Asian populations, but isn't it a very rare brain disease? Don't even ask me how I know that, but Moya is like wisps of gray or something like that, and it stands for some kind of medical condition if my memory serves. Alan Brody, love your videos. Love the Husqvarna garden tractor videos. Well, I'm glad to hear that. I have more videos definitely in the pipe. I've got 2 that I have filmed. I've got a 3rd one. It's actually already at 25 hours. Well, it's at 27 hours, but it took that long to get the oil filter. So I'll be doing an oil change video. I've got 2 additional modifications that I've done to it that I'm going to be doing. And, obviously, a garden tractor like that's going to get a lot of use. Am I going to be digging a ditch with the Brindley moldboard plow and the garden tractor? So I'll show you all how to do that again. And some cool stuff there. So, yeah, hang in there, man. I'm glad you like it, Brody. John Doe, I thought the Navajo was the last Radio Shack base station. It's I don't know. I think Navajo... Wasn't Navajo still a sideband radio? This was something made in like 96, 97. This literally would have been towards the end of Radio Shack's run as a really good company, and then also as a, as far as CBs go. And I don't know who made it. I think it might be a Uniden product, but it might also have been Maxton or Midland. I'm not sure. Michael Root, my dad got a Harbor Freight car lift, the one you got after I showed him your video. He always complained about sitting on the ground. Dude, Michael, he's going to love that thing. You can barely catch the corner of it. I'm still waiting on parts for this Volvo, so I've got my lift tied up right now. It's been over a week now, which kind of sucks, but that lift has saved my back so much trouble and made me some money on the side too, so it's a really good deal. Harley Road King, good to see you in here, my friend. CQ, some low skip from USA to Ireland. No kidding. Wow, man. Yeah, I'm waiting for the cycle to pick up. I haven't really had a lot of time to be in the garage, but whenever I am, it seems like the skip's not rolling lately. I get some local chatter, but nothing from over out of the area. I keep trying to get in touch with Mower Junkie since he's down in South Carolina, and just I don't know. I think it'd be cool because he definitely does a lot of sideband videos, and I don't know. That's my goal for this year is to make contact with Mower Junkie some point. so let me see. I think I might have skipped over some here. Super B, good to see you, man. Hey, Eric, Troy74, good to see you. Glad you made it, man. Orange Man, good. Hey, man, you got a Baofeng, right on, dude. Super B picked up a President Washington, excellent base station, one of the best they ever made. Al Martin the third, good to hear you again. Good to see you in here, my friend. Rosenfont, Fons. Hi, let it fly, right on, man. Night Stalker says hit the like button. Yeah, please, folks, if you haven't, hit the like button. It does help with the analytics for the station, I guess, or channel, whatever you want to call it. And Al Martin III saying he thought President was made in the USA. Some of their equipment might still be. I think that the McKinley, when I got it, was made in France. Some of their antennas might be made in the USA. I'm just not sure. I don't want to give out false information, so I'll say that I'm just not sure. Some presidents, Super B is saying, are made in Vietnam. Wow, man, I'm blowing through some here already. I hate that I fall behind whenever I'm trying to talk with folks. Rob Henderson saying, I'm planning on having a new base station set up in the next couple of weeks. What did you say your CB handle was? I'm moderately close to you. So, Bruce, I used to go by Northstar 707, but now I go, since so many people know me by Farpoint Farms, I go by Farpoint Farms 707 in the mountains of North Carolina. So I hope to hear you on the air someday, my friend. James Mann saying, yeah, 46 people and only 5 likes. It happens. I'm not gonna cry over it. Daniel Klingsman, TRC 495 was the last Radio Shack base. That's what I thought, man. And what's really interesting? It's an AM only rig, but it does have scan function. And I never knew that any Radio Shack, except for that really weird slider one they had, I can't even think of the number for it, had that. But yeah, it does have scan. So I'm really looking forward to playing with that some. Al Martin III, any canning videos to come? Vegetables, fruit, meat. Yeah, so I made some on meat, and I think I've made some on, I don't know if I made vegetable ones, but yes, obviously with spring here, we butchered all our animals over the fall, and with the spring here, we don't have anything currently growing. But yeah, as soon as like blackberries come in, things like that, we begin the canning season, and they're already starting to pop leaves, so it won't be long now. Jesse, man, good to see you, buddy. Hope everything's going well in Durham, my friend. Good to see you. Always cool to have old friends in here, man. Trini Chic in the Creek checking in. How you doing? Good, my friend. I love that, man. Your handle is Archangel. Daniel Kingsman saying Archangel. I'll keep a listen for you, my friend. Rose, still haven't found a good apartment antenna. Like I said, the only one I can think of is that Tram B100. That's the only like antenna that doesn't require a ground plane, that would work in a inside or out on a porch where maybe no one would notice. So that's just my unofficial opinion on that. Oh boy, where am I going here? I missed over. Mower Junkie saying someday we'll get that good ground wave. I hope so, man. That's like a life goal for 2020. Set the bar low is what I like to say. Rose saying it's Swedish. It's Roif Lefson. Oh, well, I'm sorry if I butcher it, my friend. It's nothing personal, obviously. Orange Man good. American-made electronics are as rare as I'm not going to complete that, but yes, it's getting to be that way, unfortunately. But that's okay. We can always bring that back, my man. All right, let's see here. I'm going to... Cricket, is your house in a valley on your property? If you have any hills above your home? So not on my actual property. I'm in a fishbowl. I like to say, Mike Cricket. I'm in a fishbowl where, yeah, I have higher mountains surrounding me on all sides, but I do not own that property. I'm in the middle of not. I'm not down the bottom of it. I'm in the middle of it, and I own to the bottom of it. But so I put it not at the top of my property, but I put it as realistically in the best spot I could, man. Super B saying upstate of South Carolina. 9mm Airman, antenna cable corrections I forgot to write down last time when discussed in one of our conversations. Want to upgrade the antenna cable in my truck. What should I use with the McKinley and the 102? RG8 is really plentiful is fine for a vehicle installation. You could do 213. I did RG213 in my Rabbit truck, which is way overkill. It's like the size of your thumb, you know. And I used it because I had it, but I don't know that it really gives any kind of performance increase or anything like that. John Doe wants to know how my fruit trees did. Did the blossoms die off? And unfortunately, most of them did. Yeah, we did have one apple tree that looks like it's still doing okay as far as the blossoms. Peaches looks like we lost them all, man, which is just such a bummer. Plums and pears, I'm not sure. I'm just not sure. They were almost done when the frost came through, so I don't know if they made it or not. Time will tell. Marky Shaw, how you doing, brother? Good to see you, man. Hope the family are safe and well. Thinking about getting some pizzas via curbside pickup. Been picking up tons of veggies. Good deal, man. Good to see you, Marky. I love it when you get in here and talk, man. Marky's the guy, for those of you who don't know, who did the theme song for Farpoint Farms, and he's a very talented musician. You should definitely go check out his channel. Tim Hood, CQ, from the heart of Dixie in Alabama, saying hello. Hello, man. Hey, I think Fordman 172. I think I may have spoken with you once or twice over the years. Probably back when it was Northstar 707. But good to see you in here, Mike, man. Mower Junkie, I might be a farmer now too. We just planted our first garden. I think there's a lot of folks who are planting their first garden right now, aren't they? I think so, man. The tram only goes a few miles. Yeah, but you know when you're looking at an apartment to be transmitting from, obviously certain things are not going to be ideal, and range is definitely going to be one of them. Doug Morton, hello, my friend. Good to see you in here. James Ben, let's see here. LMR 400, yeah, but LMR 400 is super hard to, it's not very flexible. It's a solid core cable, so it's very difficult to move around. And if you tried to install that in a vehicle, that might be pretty difficult. Orange Man Good, I hooked up my Tram 3000 mag mount antenna to my TV and got 60 miles of range. No kidding, dude. That's crazy. Wow, Moya Moya Vapor. Most doctors haven't heard of Moya Moya, but you got it immediately. Right on, dude. So I hope that's not something you're suffering from. But yeah, I thought that was what it was. That's a pretty rare problem, but it certainly is serious. It requires some serious surgeries to get on top of. I hope if somebody in your family or yourself is affected by that you're doing all right. David Kingsman, my 102 steel whip will beat a Wilson 1000, no doubt. As far as mobile antenna installs, the 102 steel whip is going to win pretty much every time. Location of the mounting, you could put a Wilson 1000 or 3000 right dead center in the center of a roof and maybe get better reception out of it. But generally speaking, even a bumper mounted 102 whip is going to outperform anything else on the market just because it's a quarter wave. It's designed for CB. Troy 074, well, last week when the skip was rolling, I could hear you guys all over the South talking to somebody in Detroit. I live about 40 miles from Detroit and couldn't hear them. Why is that? That's just the magic of skip, man. That wave is going up and coming back down, and it is a patch. It's a small patch. So maybe on the side that you were getting in, you could hear anybody from say North or South Carolina, but as far as what they could hear. Like you couldn't hear the guy that was 40 miles away in Detroit because that would be ground wave versus skip. So that's usually what's going on there. And then that happens quite frequently. I'll hear guys from Tennessee, who are just maybe 35 miles away from me. I'm hearing half the conversation. I'm hearing them talk to folks via ground wave, but I can't hear who they're talking to. So again, it works in both directions. It's kind of strange. Michael Root, my work is catering and food every day to help local business. I bet I gained 10 pounds. Yeah, I think a lot of folks are gaining weight. I mean, think about it, especially if you're homebound and you don't have the opportunity to get outside and exercise or just go about your everyday daily routine. Yeah, you're going to put on some weight, no doubt. Tim Hood, yes, sir. We have hit the airwaves a few times in the past. Yeah, I thought we have, man. Holly Damon, Skip was alive the last few weeks until about 3 days ago. Yeah, again, like I clocked in and I couldn't hear anything, but I was kind of not able to mess around in the garage much this week at all, really. Hey, Dallas, how you doing, man? Good afternoon, farm family. Made it. I'm at work as usual. Hope all is well. It is, my friend. I hope all is well with you as well. Looks like we got 56 folks in here. That's a pretty good turnout for a Saturday night chat, or Saturday afternoon, or Saturday, like, just afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. Super B, I'm limited on mobile antenna mount, parked in a garage. Yep, there you go, buddy. Orange Man Good, what do you think of faking? Yeah, did he? I don't know. I hadn't heard much about that. I don't watch fake news, but it wouldn't surprise me. You know, ratings, ratings, ratings. You know how that is. Jason Luck, we lost 2,000 tulips to vermin. What kind of vermin goes after tulips, man? Is it like woodchucks, groundhogs, something like that? Or is it just like rats and squirrels and such? Very interesting, man. John Doe says, hey, Eric, I mounted a 102 whip on the top roof of my car. Total height is 13.7 and it hits very few things. I'm happy using the Breedlove mount, heavy duty. Is that like 4 magnet mount that I've seen out there? That would be probably some incredible reception and transmit range with that if you had that right on the center of your roof. That's wild. So, so that's it. So I don't even know what tomorrow's video is. I have a bunch of them that are pre-recorded, so I'm just going to kind of wing it tomorrow. I do have 2 range test videos, but I realized after the fact, and I hate this because President's been asking me when I'm going to get the range test on the McKinley out. I made 2 range tests, one on AM, one on SSB with the McKinley, but I had turned down the RF power, so I wasn't transmitting very much. I think I was transmitting like 1 watt. Then I got home, and when I went to edit the videos, I was like, why is this thing only getting out like, 6 or 7 miles? And then, you get past that, and it was really a hit or miss. And I finally figured it out what that was. So I kind of want to reshoot those before putting those out. But I do have one other video related to CB that's in the queue. So I might do a CB video tomorrow. Or I might just do, more farm stuff because I've got a lot of those in the queue right now. Rock and Rod saying, I'm just sitting here sandbagging. Ain't nothing wrong with that, brother. Wandering Jedi, I haven't seen you in a while. I'm late. I'm here. Staying busy gardening and setting up our new SolarCon 2000. Yeah, the Max 2000. Hopefully you get some enjoyment out of that. I've certainly liked mine. Daniel saying he hit 102, hit Australia with his 102 whip, man. Sweet. It's amazing. There's folks that I get a lot of hate mail from ham radio operators, which just cracks me up because I have nothing against ham whatsoever. It's just my first passion is CB. And they'll be like, yeah, blah, blah, you can't do this and you can't do that. And I'm like, dude, I've talked to Italy and Australia and, definitely South America with just 4 watts of power. So don't give me that. And, they don't believe me. But it's true. There you go. Daniel Kingsman can verify that. Super B, I put up a CB video this week. I didn't know I have not checked out your channel, man. I'll definitely check that out. I didn't know you were putting up videos, but I like to help out anybody I can. John Doe was funny because I called out on 28 telling people I was sandbagging, and they said I'm not supposed to tell them that. Orange Man Good, people are beating my door wanting to buy laying hens and a few roosters. Might be a good side hustle right now for the unemployed. Most definitely, dude. Most definitely. We raise chicks, and we were actually talking the same thing. We were saying maybe we ought to start, taking those fertile eggs and selling fertilized eggs. I don't know how many people have, incubators. I could hatch them out myself, but you all, I don't know, we have an incubator, but it's a very small one. I can get maybe 12 birds out of it, and that's a slow time to get. The just turnaround time would be just forever on that. So, but yeah, if you have an incubator and you're able to do that, or a broody bird even, man, yes, that definitely you could probably sell them for a lot more than you would have been able to sell them for a few months ago. Holly Massey, finally got a ham ready to go with my license, but I can't turn off the President Madison. Yeah, CB, man, I don't know. I love ham, don't get me wrong, but CB's just happening. Seems like ham's just never happened, at least around here. 10 meters always dead whenever I mess with it. 2 meters always dead when I mess with it. I'm just in a bad spot for 2 meter. I'm convinced of that, man. You go to town, you definitely hear stuff going on. But out here, even with I bought a directional antenna. I can get one of the repeaters with that thing, but it's a dead repeater, so it's a bummer. Jason Luck saying, shrews, voles, and a couple of mice did that kind of damage. Man, Boy, that's rough, man. That is rough. I'm sorry to hear that, brother. Mike Cricket, how you doing, man? Looking forward to that SSB video on the President McKinley. Glad to hear you're working on it. P.S. Some hams are hypercritical. Yeah, you ain't kidding, my friend. And I've got. I guess to be on the internet these days, you kind of got to be tough skinned. But it's just kind of comical to me that people could get so internet hurt over stuff. You know what I mean? Like opinions are just that. They're just opinions, man. I'm just talking about stuff I like, and a lot of folks like to point out when I'm wrong. Great, my videos are mostly aimed towards beginners anyway. When it comes to radio stuff, I'm just trying to get people into it, man. If they fall deeply in love with ham or CB, great. There's plenty of other folks out there that have some really in-depth content, and I'm not that guy. I like teaching beginner classes. Let's leave it at that. Jordan B, what are your thoughts on that bear tracker? I read it's both a scanner and a CB. I do not own one, but I'll tell you what, that is a cool idea. But boy, is that sucker expensive! Isn't it like $400? So I would love to get one of those things, but I have to be out long enough to start showing up used. It's kind of like my 980 when I got it. That thing had been out on the market for a couple of years. I've been eyeballing that thing and drooling over it, but it wasn't until I found one that was like a refurb or a return, being resold on eBay that I was able to pick one up, and I've loved it. So if it's half as good as the 980, that'd be a great setup. Mower Junkin saying those same ham guys give me grief about my magic box. Oh man, yeah, and that's why you don't see a lot of that on this channel. Is that there was a guy who literally reported me to the FCC and threatened me all up and down because something I was doing just didn't seem right to him. And it was like, man, what is wrong with you in your life that this is like your passion to go and try to ruin dudes' lives over nothing? And of course, it went nowhere. But the guy, God, he was such a weirdo, man. And I was shocked because I guess that was the first person on this channel, and this was probably back when I had 4,000 subscribers at most, or maybe less than that. That really was like weird, like weird, creepy weird, So there you go. So I know I feel your pain, as they say, Mower Junkie. I feel your pain. Adam, how you doing, man? It's Eric Lost in the Woods. Yes, I am. These are my own personal woods right there in the picture. And that's my little barn, although that barn's a lot bigger now. I'll be sharing with you guys in the next couple of weeks and months some of the upgrades we've done, and that barn is one of the upgrades. We've enlarged that barn almost about a third bigger or half as much bigger. So big one. Arc of Dragonface. Hello, my friend. Good to see you in here. I don't think we've talked before. Arc of Dragonface says, I have some questions for you about a mower. It's a riding mower, Cub Cadet LT 1045. Great mowers. Cub Cadet is a good brand of mower, no doubt. Uh-oh. Oh, man. Orange Man, good. CB is a bit looser to me. Ham seems to be for snobs of the radio world. Yeah, I think that's it. It's such a loosely run organization. It just seems like everyone just kind of gets along. And yeah, you still have people who have, sessions of arguing with each other, but it's so much isolated compared to the snobbery that goes on sometimes with that stuff. Holly Dam Man, I am running a Serio Tornado 5/8 wave CB. I'm loving that thing. About 40-mile range on SSB. I can get about 20 or so on AM. I've heard great things about those Serio antenna range, and just those antennas in general made from that company are usually really high-end stuff. John Doe saying, love CB when two guys talk about fishing and hunting, and they talk about it until 2 a.m. in the morning, man. I've been there. I've done that. Especially, during some times when people get lonely. This is a great time to get into CB right now because there's folks that are isolated or fairly isolated, and it's a good time to make new friends and talk about stuff. It's funny, and this happens a lot on CB, but it happens a lot more, it seems, on ham, is that people get on ham and CB, and all they talk about is CB and ham. And that's kind of a trap. If you want to get people interested in the hobby, it's good to, just talk about life, man. Talk about the same stuff you talk about on the internet or in person. And so I love it when I come across little, groups of people who are just talking about family and friends and everything else and things that are going on in the world. And right now is a good time to get into it because most people right now that you're talking to, yeah, you might talk radios a bit, but you also just talk, man. I love that. Orange Man Good pointing out you can get a brand new 980 for 120. Yeah, they certainly have come down in price, and they're, I'm glad to see they're still making a sideband radio because there's just not enough of them out there in the world right now. Super Bane is saying he got a Max 2000 for the house. Awesome, dude. 9mm air man. I had ducks and sold the eggs to a local market. We had a problem with raccoons climbing the chain link fence to steal the eggs. They would kill the duck to get at the eggs. Shot a lot of them. I'm sorry to hear that, man. We've had a lot of animals killed by predators on our property. We had a bear. We actually have had bear this year already, but we had a bear that just shredded the fence and then electrified the fence, and that got rid of him. But then we had a bobcat that could pop right over that fence and do the damage that he needed to do. Raccoons, we had 3 lines of electric on top of the fencing, and so that usually kept them out. But occasionally you'd still have a raccoon, and he would drop in from the trees overhead onto the barn and then down onto the ground, do the damage. But he'd be stuck in there because he couldn't get out after he got in there, and so you'd deal with them appropriately. Um, Holly Dan Man saying the 980 is a decent radio. Yeah, man, I've never had any complaints with mine. I really enjoy it. River Rider, hello, man. Good to see you in here, my friend. John Doe, he's talking with them. Anamorphic Adam, I've had thoughts on using a 5-foot Fire Stick mobile antenna as a CB base antenna outside. How do I tune the SWR? You've got to create some kind of a ground plane, my friend. So if you have a metal roof on an outbuilding, that would probably work. If not, and I've seen guys do this in apartments, and I don't know if you're on the ground floor or somebody is on the ground floor of an apartment and wanted to do this. Is they actually they had a base or a mobile antenna on their car, and they just would get home and they'd run a cable, that extension cable out from the house, and so they would use the car's antenna and the base, and the ground plane on the car, but they would be able to talk from their house. Yeah, that's been many years since I've seen that, but I just thought about that, and that is a solution. So you could run a cable. You could park your car below your apartment and throw your cable up on your second floor, and talk all night, and in the morning unhook it and go to work. Let's see here. Arc of Dragonface. Yeah, I talked to you before you got me into CB radio. I asked you about the Washington you got out of the Hamfest. Right on, dude. Daniel Kingsman. I run a 980 SSB in my truck, and I got my wife and son one each. I mean, they're just good radios. They're just good performers. I've heard some folks say they don't like the fact that, or they say that the display isn't bright enough when you're in a vehicle. But since I've only had mine as a base station, I can't say much about that. Um, Daniel Kingsman, my CB radio buddies, and I would be up till 2 a.m. every Friday night. Yep. Orange Man Good. CB needs more young. Yeah, more young ladies. Yeah, boy, there was some ladies that used to run around on CB back in the '90s in Raleigh, and a lot of them sure sounded sweet. But when you met them in person, man, it was certainly a different story. I think everybody from the heyday of CB would have a story that was similar to that. John Doe over in Missouri, a bobcat attacked a turkey hunter. No kidding. Oh, calling in the turkeys and got attacked by the cat. No kidding. That's interesting to know. Yeah, I think that's what killed my Tom. I had 2 beautiful turkeys that I used to use, and they were like my mating pair to raise other turkeys, and killed them both within a week, man. And I was never able to catch him. He was quicker than the trail camera, and certainly quicker than my ability to react from so far away. You can see the picture in the background there. That's my barn. My house is about another 150 feet up the hill from that, so it's too far away to just be there. So, Anamorphic Adam saying, more coax to the car. Cool idea. Yeah, I mean, honestly, if you could park your car near your apartment, toss, get a 100-foot run, even if it's just RG8, to save some money because the length of the run, you might lose a little, but if you put maybe a foot warmer or an amp or something like that behind it, you'd probably make up the difference in line loss and still be having a great opportunity to talk to the world there without violating any rules of the apartment complex, right? Nicholas Hoss Logan. Evening all. Took the wife to church to sew mass for people. Been helping the local pastor do a flip house by doing the outside landscaping. Okay, now into CB. I'm running a 980 in the pickup. Good to see you. Hey, Nicholas, good for you, man, to help out. That's good stuff, man. That's good stuff. Good for you. Dallas Rife, I barely had time to enjoy that new 98 VHP I showed you by these 60-hour weeks, but so far it's a workhorse, and the transmit and receive is superior to anything I've ever owned. Right on, dude. Running 2322 on low band here in eastern Idaho. Right on, Nicholas. I'll keep an eye out for you. Some anamorphic after. Oh gosh, I'm gonna move back into. I'm missing out on so many of these things. Daniel Kingsman saying he has a friend who lives in Zionville. Okay, that's not all that far from where I'm at, my man. Mike Cricket, hence Yeah, Mike Cricket saying, hence why you don't give out your call sign. Crazy people out there. My buddy and I talk in UHF about gardening and guns. At least that's something different. Right on, dude. Kingsman, North Carolina. Yeah, yeah, I know where Zionville is. Yeah, that's literally like, maybe an hour from here, hour and a half, something like that. Rose saying, I took my 980 to the truck, hooked it up to my Fire Stick IBA in the bed. It worked great. Good, glad to hear that. Looking for someone to speak and tune 5 other CBs I have. Eventually need to get that base station set up at the house, but I'm laid off right now. Nick, shoot, Dallas, if you can chime in with that guy, I don't have his I don't have his name written down here. I had it last week, but there's a guy that does great work. He's the one that fixed the RCI for me, and you'd have to mail it to him. But he's good. He's good at doing radios, no doubt about it. Daniel says something. Oh, it's Boone, Zionville, Boone. Yeah, that's that area, no doubt. Um, Anamorphic Avenue. Let's see. Nicholas Haas says grew up down there in Mooresville. Yeah, Mooresville is like where all the NASCAR stuff is, and they have a lot of like. Uh, well, they do a lot of teaching. Like there's several schools down there for like automotive related learning. You get on a race car team, just learn how to work on cars in general. So uh, that's we actually thought about moving down there a couple years back. I don't really want to move to Mooresville, but it's I'm in the automotive industry, so there was a job opportunity down there I considered briefly. I'll just leave that at that, I guess. But I turned it down and I don't regret it at this point. Orange Man, good. Eric, I hope you don't mind, but I've been putting your and Mower Junkies CB radio videos into playlists to help y'all channels out. By all means, I'm sure he'll agree with that. Anyway, y'all feel like you can help out and spread information to get these hobbies, kicked up into high gear. That's awesome, man. Great. John Doe, are you a NASCAR fan? Who's your favorite driver of all time? I actually don't. So this is really interesting. There are 2 types of mechanics out there in this world. And Mower Junkie, you being a former mechanic, you might be able to you might be able to chime in on this as well because you might be the opposite. So there's some mechanics out there who like live, eat, breathe, and die by it. And so like they'll work on cars all day, and they go home and they work on like some kind of classic sports car or race car or something like that, and then they go to races and they just follow that as a gospel. And then the other style is those that use it. It's a job, and they do enjoy sometimes tinkering, but they don't eat and breathe it. So they have other hobbies, which is pretty much where I'm at. You'll notice a lot of my videos on repair work are on lawnmowers because it's still mechanical, which I still enjoy, but they're different enough from an automobile that it doesn't cause me to have burnout. So a lot of times I like playing with like, mopeds and lawnmowers and things like that. But I don't watch car restoration shows, things like that, because I kind of live that life. So I think you just kind of get overloaded on that. I think you would just kind of just, but I do know a lot of guys that are that way that, that work on cars all day. They go home and they play with cars all night. And God, good help, be good for them. It's just I just can't do that. I have to have that break. So I have other hobbies. I play with vintage computers, CB radios, things like that. So Rose saying, what about attaching a wire from my Fire Stick to the metal frame of a window? I don't think that would be enough of a ground plane, man. You need a plane, like an area of several feet, in order to act as that reflector. Let's see here. You guys are talking to each other. Dustin Adams, how you doing, my friend? Good to see it, man. Orange Man, good. Mooresville, NC is too close to Charlotte for my taste. I lived in Knoxville for a couple years. Too much city for this hillbilly. And yeah, that's so like Orange Man. When I went down there, um, I went to visit Mooresville. I went to visit the place that they were offering me a job at, and it was a good job, good paying. Housing was expensive. You were on top of your neighbors, and it was hot and humid, just like Raleigh was, which I'd just gotten away from. And yeah, the traffic, man. It was Charlotte's a major city, and I don't want to be around that. That's why I moved up here, and I don't really want to go back to that unless I have to, and I didn't have to. So that, but it's not that there was anything wrong with Mooresville or Charlotte for that matter. If you're into cities, both of them are fairly nice places. Mower Junkie chiming in that when he was in his teens and 20s, all I thought about was cars and girls. Nothing else mattered. Yeah, buddy. Yeah. When I turned 16, it was all about cars and girls, and everything else just fell by the wayside. I do remember those days for sure. Question mark, saying, how's the Mirage holding up? I'm thinking of getting one. I love it. It just, I have owned that car for exactly 1 year as of like 2 days ago, and I couldn't be happier. It's my first and only new car, and I would definitely buy another one in a heartbeat. I mean, no issues, no visits to the dealership, do my own oil changes, haven't had to replace anything, do anything, nothing's rattling or scary, or, yeah, just very happy, man. Let's see here. Lucas, how you doing, man? Lucas Underwood is a friend of mine from town. I hope you are doing well, my friend. Yeah, this is how I spend my isolated life. And Lucas, hopefully next week I'll have some good news for you. We are definitely hiring someone else at the company, so there'll be a bigger group there, and I'm excited about that. No matter who it ends up being, so we're really looking forward to that. And hopefully we'll have a place to come back to in the fall. The way things are going, who knows? Nicholas saying, dude, Mooresville has turned into a city. Last time I was there for a wedding, it was still country when we first moved to NC from Western Tennessee. Yeah, it was pretty trafficy. I mean, like I was surprised at how much traffic was going on down there. But I mean, it is like the NASCAR capital. I mean, there's a lot of these guys have their stuff going on there, so it's kind of a big deal. CE just put ag tires on my garden tractor today after rupturing a bicep in my tending. Wow, man. Sorry to hear about that, dude. Thanks for reviewing the Harbor Freight Mini Wheel Changer, done in 5 minutes. I'm glad to hear that, dude. Yeah, that's how I put the ag tires on my tractor, was with that manual tire changer. Thing works, and it costs hardly nothing, so it's right. It's a great little thing, man. Super B saying he's into cars, girls, and airplanes. Well, there you go. Airplanes adds a little bit of money into the mixture, but that sounds like a fun hobby for sure. Daniel saying my brother drove a 1970 Plymouth Barracuda. Oh, wow. Yeah, now that's a real classic car. I was never rich enough to have anything that was actually cool, so I just had to make what I had into something sort of cool, or at least cool in my head. You know what I mean? Mike Cricket, fellas, asking about antennas. The Striker SRA10 is a great antenna. Good to know it, my friend. Jordan B said used to work for a company out of RTP that made a few trips there. I miss those Bojangle lunches. They don't have Bojangles in Southern California. No kidding, man. Well, that is a crime against humanity, because Bojangles does make some great chicken. Lucas saying doing fantastic. Glad to hear that, my friend. Glad to hear that. Orange Man good. I spent a lot of time in Mooresville. Used to work for Morgan McClure Racing. No kidding, man. Small world. Wesley Strickland. Hello, my friend. Good to see you in here. Man, we just got a bunch of folks in here. I'm having a hard time keeping up with everybody, so if I skip over you, I apologize, man. Anamorphic Gavin, for me, it was years. It was girls, cars, and airplanes. Now it's doctor's appointments. Yeah, yeah. I got you, brother. Christian, I'm in NC. Since you did your video on CB Radio, is it dead a couple years ago? Do you think it's alive now? So yes and no. So Christian, it's definitely seen a big pickup here in the last couple months with people being more isolated, people being stuck at home. Obviously, it's a way to communicate, just like the internet, just like cell phones. So people are definitely turning it on and seeing if there's folks to talk to. But Skip, which is the way we talk long distance, is died down because of the solar cycle. So you are seeing a little bit less of that long distance chat. So sometimes when you turn the radio on, you hear nothing for a while. It can become a little disheartening. But hang in there; it'll definitely come back. Let's see. Super B saying 25 years as an aircraft mechanic. Cars are easy now. Yeah, no doubt. And if a car breaks down after you work on it or something goes wrong, generally speaking, hopefully that car gets towed back in and you deal with just an angry customer and a huge bill. With an airplane, the stakes are so much higher, my friend. So I definitely feel you on that. Row have been around 8 Ford Mavericks when I was younger. Right on, dude. Mavericks were pretty cool little cars. No Bojangles in Arkansas either. Huh, man, this is crazy. Let's see here. Mower Junkie also had a bunch of Mavericks. Right on, dude. Man, that's just crazy. Let's see. Burned up the Branks. Mike Cricket, do you want to tell us what's on your mind besides reading our stuff? We're all ears. Well, I don't have a whole lot on my mind. It's been a busy week here on the farm. The stuff that I want to talk about, I can't talk about it, because of the censorship issues here on YouTube. I'd love to talk about current events, but honestly, why get brought down by all this? This is just a bummer. I can say this, and here's what's going on this week. I've learned that we won't be returning. Our whole state has shut down schools for the remainder of the year, which is unfortunate because, well, I'm a part of that. I work for the school systems, and I think it's sad that there's a lot of people that are going to be out of work for a while. And I also think it's bad for the kids. I don't have any kids myself, but they need to get an education, and so it's kind of a bummer they're not going to be around for that. So that's sad. That also is affecting other businesses. There's a lot of folks that are currently out of work, and more people are out of work, and I hate it. I go to town, I talk to the guys that I've worked with in this town, and little by little, business is slowing because the money is starting to run out. You get laid off, and eventually you get fired, and it just gets worse and worse. So I don't like talking about it because it's depressing, but it is what's going on here. And so I've just kind of surrounded myself with as much positive I can, which is working here on the farm, getting ready for what I hope to be as a great crop. I've got a lot of food going in the ground. We've built a lot of raised beds, which I'll be showing y'all some videos on here shortly. Been working on some of the garden tractors and trying to work on the car if I could ever get it out of here. Still waiting on parts. So I don't know about y'all, but mail is much slower than it was. It takes a lot longer to get something from the West Coast to the East Coast, and so I've been waiting on a part now for 10 days to get this car back out of here. And so that's one of the things that's going on. I let's see here. Somebody wants to know what was it? What Roe wants to know what my T-shirt says. It says Citizen Press. I feel like that's a good shirt to wear. Looks like the camera's gone out of focus, but I'm not going to mess with it right now, or I'll probably drop it again. But Citizen Press, man, we're all part of the press. I always wear this shirt when I do live shows, or at least I used to, because I feel like it's the truth. It's the truth, man. The news stations aren't the only news, man. We're all news. I'm telling you what I'm seeing here on the ground, and that makes me part of the press, right? I think it's just my way of maybe giving the middle finger to the censorship that goes on the internet these days. So there we go. Let me see here. Holly Dam said they made my kids do a lot of online assignments. They had good grades because the teacher was me. They can do way more than put someone in detention. Yeah, right on. Yeah, when the parents are the teachers, they can certainly do a bunch. Ryan saying, as a teacher, I'm working online, but I really miss the classroom. We closed for the year in West Virginia. On the bright side, staying positive and working on the property. And I think that's all you can do, Ryan. That's kind of what I'm trying to do. I think it's just, we're all stuck with it. I think we talked about it a little bit the other day on the other channel there. We talked just briefly about the fact that, I don't know what the right answer is. I don't know what anybody thinks the right answer is. Do we open it all back up and risk the overflowing and the death rates and all that stuff, or do we keep it shut down and literally drop a giant grenade into the economy that probably does more damage than I care to think about it? I mean, it keeps me up at night. I cannot imagine for the folks out there that got young kids, and this is just an amazingly bad time to be around. Well, I've lived through the '87 recession and the 2000 .com burst and the 2008 Great Recession, and this is something far, far worse. So it does worry me, but you stay busy and you stay positive, man. John Doe saying it's a classic. Yes, it is, my friend. Thank you for noticing that. Jackson wants to know what state I'm in. I'm in North Carolina, right on the Tennessee line. Getaway chats like this are great for the mind right now. Yeah, and that's why I was trying to do 2 a week. I didn't get a chance to do one earlier this week just because there was stuff going on. But this is like I don't generally. I used to do just live chats every once in a while, and then I try to do them once a month. Right now, I'm doing them as often as I can just because I know there's a lot of folks out there that are probably just like me. They're cooped up at home. They're not having a lot of social interaction, and that's not good for your mind or your soul. And so it's a good opportunity to just sit around and talk with friends, I mean, churches are closed and businesses are closed. Everything's closed. So a lot of folks, especially older folks, they're just sitting there killing time. If you got family that's elderly that's still alive, you might want to call them more often because they probably could really use some interaction right now. Psycho, for you, good to see you in here, man. I haven't seen you in a while. How's it going? It's going, my friend. Zeke is saying the most negative word of 2020 is positive. Yeah, probably. Calcius, hey, good to see you in here as well, man. It's not good. You're right. Yeah, Psycho, for you saying that mighty Kim Jong-un might be a dead man. I'm horrified by that. It's like every time they replace their leader, it's always somebody worse. They say he's got a sister that might take over, or is it a sister or a daughter? I don't know. They showed a picture of her on the news there a while back, and and they're saying, "Gosh, she could be even worse." And it's hard to imagine worse. But I will say this about the little man: he's the only one that ever met with an American president since the war. So as horrible a human being as he is, at least there was that sliver of hope that maybe we could finally put that mess behind us. And I don't know. Let's hope that maybe the sister, if it does end up being the case that she takes over, um, is a woman who can be reasoned with. Let's hope that that's the case. Orange Man Good. Open it up. Yeah, who knows, man. Orange Man Good. I don't even. I'm not. I'm not even going to comment on that because you know how this censorship works on YouTube these days. So I'm not going to talk about that whole side effect there. John Doe, that really sucks. Doctor took 8 minutes to put a stint in his arm. Kim ain't doing well. Yeah, 8 minutes, huh? Whew. Let's see here. Wandering Jedi, how you doing, man? Have to focus on things you can do, and those things will assist you in possible future changes. Right on, man. Psycho for You says his sister is Bond villain crazy. That is crazy. That's not good at all. I haven't heard any specific stories. His dad used to feed his enemies to like hungry dogs and stuff. So they're all just nuts. But I was hoping maybe somebody somewhere would be a little bit better off. But I guess it is what it is. John Doe says, well, he did drink, smoke, and a history of heart problems. Really shame that he didn't take care of his health better. Well, I mean, I'm not going to miss the guy when he dies, other than the fact that it's the first time that I can think of in my life that we had a sliver of hope for some kind of a resolution. Dude, we've been at war for over 50 years with these morons. The financial cost of keeping 40,000 troops on the border, it's just such a waste of resources, man. And I was about to swear, but crap or get off the pot. And I think that, love him or hate him, DJT was at least making the attempt to let's find a solution to this thing, good or bad. Let's make some compromises. Let's get it over with. And I think there's a lot of countries that we ought to probably take the same approach with. And of course, everything's sidetracked with this mess we got going on in our world right now. But man, it's crazy. Anyone else ever licked their fingers and touch an outlet for kicks? No, I mean, as a kid, I think I stuck a fork or something into an outlet, and that's one of those things you only do once. I think I also stuck my finger in an outlet and burned, broke a bulb or something like that, stuck it in a light bulb socket. That definitely was something you only do once. That would really hurt. Smokey the Jeep, good to hear from you today, man. Yeah, he's saying he thinks it may have been the what if he croaked. Of course, we'll never know. No, and of course they're never going to tell the truth about stuff like that. According to them, they don't have any cases, so they're good to go. But the reality is, of course, probably not the truth. Calcius is saying it's interesting hearing stories from the defectors about what life is really like. They say that they miss the sense of community and seeing the stars compared to life in the South. No doubt, yeah. You ever look at a nighttime shot of that area? South Korea is all lit up. North Korea is just pitch black. Power consumption issues. Man. Yeah, Psycho for You saying at least we had some sort of working relationship. Now we have nothing. And again, it's possible that if the daughter takes over or the sister takes over, that she's willing to negotiate or at least keep the dialogue open. I know things had kind of soured again, but honestly, I think that as a country we have bigger things going on right now, and so. Well, when a kid has a tantrum and they pound their feet and stuff like that, you can deal with them or you can ignore them. Right now, I think we have to ignore all these little tantrums that are going on around the world because we just got so much going on at home. And I think that might have been part of what happened with that permission to fire on Iranian boats thing that happened this week is we just don't have time to deal with it. So you can have your little fit or whatever, but I at this point we're just gonna have to defend ourselves and hope that you just suck it up. But my guess is that will no longer be an issue. I think that we put our foot down on that, and that's probably going to be a stop there as well. Orange Man Good. Your comments are usually the funniest ones, man. Michael Weiss, 55. He never bombed the crap out of anyone. I'm not going to disagree with that. I'm not going to say that we're, horrible people, but I'm also going to say that we certainly have blood on our hands. We're the world police. It's kind of a joke. It's kind of not, but there's certainly a lot of countries out there that are angry with us, and they probably have some pretty good reasons to be so. So, Wes says there is a world war coming. I agree with that 100%. Unfortunately, I know what happens, and historically, depressions usually end with war. And I don't see this being any different. And I know who the people we're going to go to war with. Well, at least the main one. And so it sucks, but it is what it is. Best we can do is pray and keep on with our lives and just be well. Nicholas Defectors, yeah. Markle Bennett, Kim is dead. I would not want to be his doctors. Yeah, no kidding, right? Be a certain career limiter. Yeah, imagine the folks around him when he did. They say he just grabbed his chest and fell over. Boy, I wouldn't want to have been the guy that worked on him that day, man, because that's going to be one of those. And then we shot him at point blank range with a tank round or something like that. Oh gosh, Richard, how you doing, man? Staying in the house. 73 is from Armadillo, Texas. Good to hear from you, my friend. Let's see here. Anamorphic Adam says a PFC in the Army makes $17.33 a month, and multiplied by 40,000 troops is 69 mil a month. Yes, sir. Yeah, and then the barracks and the payments to South Carolina, South Korea, and so on and so forth. John Doe says you want to know how to get the oil price back up. Poof. Exactly, man. Orange Man Good says he's on his fourth wife. Boy, dude, you better be careful, man. You're going to have a heart attack there, fella. Oh, man. Let's see here. What else is going on in this beautiful world of ours? So I am planning on taking the rabbit to town. The rabbit truck hasn't been to town in ages. We'll be going into town to the old shop and picking up some stuff, dropping off some stuff, cleaning up some stuff, saying hi to a few folks, and getting the heck out. And I might go grocery shopping for the first time in a month. I got a mask. I guess I could do that. How y'all been going to town? I mean, are people paying attention to these isolation? Well, what do they call them? Stay-at-home things, or are you just blowing it off and going out anyway? Because we haven't really left here in quite some time now. Let's see. What was your last job? Well, I let a dictator die. Yeah. Oh man. Let's see. How is the social distancing going in your area? Oh man, it got deleted. Sorry about that. Who else is bored out of their mind? Yeah, Jackson. So that's what we're here for. Is that the Super B saying customers still need to work cars worked on. So in my area, it's been hit or miss. Talking with friends, got some shops that have laid off a bunch of the mechanics, which is sad. Other shops just letting them starve, telling them, show up for your 40-hour work week or 50-hour work week, but you're on commission, so good luck. And then there's a couple of shops, those shops that have that are family run and they have good customer service and good customer relations. They seem to be staying afloat. So I'm hoping that the shops y'all work at are in that category. I've had 2 friends got let go in the last month, so I know that not everyone is surviving this as well as others. And, eventually this does turn around, but it's a bummer. Jordan B. Do your grocery stores deliver? I've been getting groceries delivered here for the past month, but it takes a few days. So, no, sir, I don't. We live I'm about 45 minutes from the nearest grocery store. With no traffic, probably 30 minutes to the nearest grocery store. So no opportunity for them to deliver to me. But I think you can do like call ahead and pick up. So I might do that. Let's see here. I missed a few of y'all. Mark 12th, Tom O'Brien saying March 12th, the last time I went shopping. That's about it for me. I think it was maybe a week after that. So. Calcius, Farpoint Farms, have you ever ate a squirrel meat or anything city people would consider out of the normal meat? Most certainly, yeah. I've had squirrel on quite a few occasions. I used to hunt squirrel when I was a kid. We'd go camping and hunt squirrel, probably out of season, if they had a season at that point, with BB guns and 22s, and then camp and have those for dinner. Squirrel tastes good. There's not a lot of meat on a squirrel, though, so it's just you got to get a couple of them in order to get something out of it. Mower Junkie says the lack of money sucks, but wow, am I getting a lot done at the house? Yeah, and I think that we're getting ready to hit the cusp of I had time off that was unexpected, and I got the stimulus check, so I'm able to do a bunch of projects around the house. I'm hearing a lot of people buying home improvement stuff, fixing up the house, and we've been doing a lot of it. I had a lot of summer projects where I stockpile materials as they go on clearance over the year, and then during the summer months, I'll try to knock stuff out, and of course. With excessive time off, we actually had decent weather too, so we were able to get a bunch of stuff done. So I'm hearing a lot of people do that. The problem is that money's going to run out, and about the same time, hopefully the projects run out. But then I am worried for society because now the spending drops off, and so does the stuff that keeps us busy. And idle minds lead to trouble. You know what I mean? Super B saying you're your own shop owner. Right on, man. Well, Lucas Underwood, who is also in here tonight, is a shop owner. I know quite a few of them. But good for you, man. A shop owner is, yeah, you're everything, man. You're the mechanic, you're the salesman, you're the owner, you're the parts guy, you're everything, right? You probably take people back and forth to their house sometimes too, don't you? It's all part of the job, isn't it? I'm self-employed with car repairs myself. I work out of the house here, mostly doing flipping cars. I don't do a lot of repairs for folks, although I do them sometimes, very rarely at this point in life. Orange Man, good. I'm taking my own truck to Walmart to get my second inflatable hot tub. Right on, dude. Hillbilly Rich. I like that. Sounds good, dude. Let's see here. John Doe says, last week in Illinois, 1 p.m. in the afternoon, I did a 35-mile run on the highway and nobody was on it. It was surreal. Good. I'm glad to hear that people are at least, if we're going to blow up our economy over this, we should at least, hopefully everyone's at least following it. We're not just wasting time and still everyone getting sick. Guys and gals, I am going to say this one time, please, if you would be so kind as to hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, maybe you think about doing that too. I'd say 90-something% of the people that watch my videos are not subscribed, which is kind of weird, but I'm cool with that. But anyway, if you get a chance to, I'd appreciate that. TextPat says, you're going every couple of weeks grocery shopping. Yeah, we're getting low on some stuff, but nothing that we can't live without. We make our own bread here, and we still have tons of flour and that kind of stuff. Milk is probably where we're going to run out eventually here. Let's see here. Went grocery shop. Most of the stores around here are closed. Did find one open. No wait. Clutch in and out on the old F-350. Right on, dude. Squirrel, the chicken of the tree. Yeah, it is kind of, isn't it? Kelsey says he bought a used sewing machine, was thinking about making a pair of trousers from surplus army wool blanket. Never sewed anything in my life. Is it hard to learn to sew? My wife does it. I've done it. I'm not very good with a machine. I can sew by hand fairly well. I've never tried to make clothing though, but I say go for it. If you got time to learn a new hobby, let's do it, right? Super B is doing house calls sometimes. Yeah, I figured you would. We're all delivery drivers. We're all parts guys, delivery drivers, you name it, man. Business owning. Orange Man's good. One of the lucky few working through the thing. Hey, look at that, Calcius. Thank you very much. $11. I appreciate the super chat. Always nice to get a donation here on the channel, and I appreciate that, man. Thank you very much, brother. Manus Ramos. Hello from Santiago, Chile. Hello, my friend. Good to see you in there, man. Good to see you. Good to see you. I don't think we've ever talked before, but man, just glad to have you on the channel. Mountain Man, what do you think about the garden tractor as ATV versus a utility vehicle or old truck? So I think, here's the thing. I think a garden tractor is more useful on a farm. I don't think it's a great replacement for an ATV, but I think it is a replacement for an ATV. A utility, like a real ATV or UTV, is going to be great for, if you have like 40 acres or 60 acres or 80 acres for getting around on something like that. But for gardening or for working a farm like I have, the poor man's ATV is what I grew up with. It's what I like to create, and so I'm just very happy with that. So I'm all about the poor man's garden tractor / ATV. That one that I put the bed on, man, every day that thing's out. In fact, I haven't even bothered to park it under the cover lately because I just keep, every time I put it away, I have to break it back out and use it again. Let's see here. Dave Speck, Walmart. I got too close to another customer. He got upset and shouted at me to keep 6 feet between us. I called someone else over and told him now there are 6 feet between us. That's a good one. That is a good one. I'll have to remember that. Super B says, how the heck did 4 people dislike this chat? So I have some ham radio folks that just don't like me. That'd be my best guess. Oh, that's good, man. Al Martin III said he'll trade croaker, spot, and flounder for peaches and apples or rabbit. Right on, dude. I love a good trade like that. How do North Carolinians view Virginia's rights there? Well, I feel bad for you, but Virginia is turning blue. I don't think there's any stopping it. You got that big cities there that are just crushing it, and eventually it probably happens. Although I like to think that the tide turns eventually. So I don't know, man. I hate it for you. I hate that whole mess that y'all have been going through. Has just been silly, and of course I think y'all finally managed to push it off, but that's all that happened is they'll just slip it in some other bill. They're just scumbags. Let's see. Noah, sup, Eric? My girlfriend and I just got done with a 2-hour walk around town. Just back just in time. Good to see you, Noah. I'm glad to have you in here. I'm going to be hanging out for about another 20, 25 minutes, something like that. And I'm going to head in for the night. Yeah, I don't know if any of y'all watch MeTV. It's an over-the-air channel. But they have Sven Gulli, who's this like horror host from the old days. He's still on the air. And they're playing Attack of the 50-Foot Woman tonight. So I don't know if y'all like cheesy old black and white scary movies, but that one's a doozy, man. If you get it, you might want to watch it. It starts at 8 here on the East Coast. I don't know if it starts where it starts on the West Coast, man. But, the blue tide is hurtful, no doubt. Yeah, it is. But you know what? Everything is cyclic in this world. I think that no matter what your political leanings, eventually, you know, you get to see it all turn back around again. I think Generation Z is really very, very the opposite of the millennial generation. So I think what we're going to see is a very big turn back towards all the things that they've squeezed down on, all this lack of free speech and all this, you know, I think that that's just going to come back around. That's all. I think it'll be like the 60s all over again, except maybe not with the hippies. Um, is there an actual reason why ham guys and CB guys can't get along? I have no idea, man. I never had a problem with the ham radio guys, but they certainly got a problem with me. How is Montes Ramos wants to know, how is CB radio going for you? It's good. It's been really slow here, but been enjoying it. Like I've been working so hard, I'm hardly ever in the garage, and when I am, there's been no skip. But I have had my local chats. In fact, tonight I'm probably going to be watching TV, so I won't get on it. But the local chat here is coming on here in about an hour or so. Orange Man, good. He's planning on starting a landscaping business. That he won't give it away. He'll lose it. That's how that works, dude. Let's see. I have hope in Gen Z. My Gen is perma chicken. Yeah, perma children. Yeah, I'm sorry, not chicken. Yeah, I think Gen Z will probably turn it around. Let's see here. I'm getting a whole bunch of people. Chris Dameron, hello from N1XJI. Good to see you, buddy. Wandering Jedi, regular sized chicks are scary enough with the family courts and divorce laws. No way you're watching a 50-foot. Yeah, it's a true horror story, man, right? John Doe, have you thought about KU band satellite dish? There are free channels on it. Man, I was so into free band or FTA satellite when I was younger. Had a 10-foot dish in the yard back in Raleigh or outside of Raleigh there. We got all kinds of cool stuff on it. And I've definitely thought about adding that here. In fact, right before everything went to you know what, I tried real hard to get a setup, an FTA setup, and was talking with, gosh, what's his name? Ottawa Octane, I think his name is, here on YouTube. Really cool guy. You should check out his channel if you're interested in that sort of stuff. But he was helping guide me through what a modern FTA setup would look like just for a KU. So yes, I am looking at that. I just haven't pulled the trigger just yet. The Greatest American Hero is the best show on MeTV. That is a great show. I remember that, man. Pickles Lewis 55. Yeah, I remember that. Not so bad. You're right. Mark Bennett says you're ham and have no problem with you. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Cat Lover, I did get your email. I'm sorry I haven't responded to you. I will, I promise. You would be amazed at how many emails I get. It's a staggering amount of comments and emails and messages that I get every day now. I'm talking 150 on an average day. And on a day that I post a video, sometimes it's 200. So it is shocking. Like I used to be able to answer every single message that I got. And now I usually do about 20, 25. And then I I'm like, my eyes start bleeding and I have to stop. So Nicholas saying, yeah, getting to yelling wars is kind of goofy. I agree with that. Marcus Ramos, hope you get on the air more. Yeah, I will. As soon as I'm just trying to get on top of some spring stuff. Spring on any farm is just a very busy, busy time. So that's just what's going on. And once the summer gets in, to full swing when everything's planted and we get into our rainy season here, usually everything is pretty much, other than picking weeds every day and feeding the critters and such, we usually kind of go a little bit on autopilot, and then it becomes time to start canning and freezing foods and stuff like that. So Ryan's saying he's a big fan of MeTV. It's a good channel. That and Antenna TV, I think, are two great stations. If you don't want to pay for TV, those are just easy ones to get. Dallas Rife says, "Do you have anything in mind when you hit 25,000 subscribers?" You know, at the rate things are going, brother, that will be exactly 1 month from now. I'm averaging over 1,000 subscribers every month now. I'm picking up. I guess that's probably been one of the few silver linings to everyone being locked in their house is that more people are watching YouTube. So, I mean, you know, you got to look at the bright side, right? So there's the bright side. I don't know about it. My wife asked me right before I started the show, though, that what are you going to do? And I thought, well, man, that's a quarter of the way to that big silver YouTube thing, and I hope to have that someday. So yeah, maybe we'll have just a live feed and celebrate it together. I remember when it was 10,000 subscribers, and I was freaking out, and it wasn't but around Christmas when it was 20. So this channel really is taking off, surprisingly. Chris Dameron, what is your favorite antenna? As far as a television antenna, I don't know anymore at this point. I had the HD stacker. As far as a base station for CB, I'd say the A99 is probably the best value you can get. And as far as a car antenna, the 102 steel whip beats them all. Jackson wants to know, what is my favorite car manufacturer? I would have to say Toyota. Toyota, and I don't, well, let me take that, let me put an asterisk by that. Modern Toyota products, something newer than say 2012. I really don't have a whole lot of experience with reliability and stuff like that, so I hear some intermittent stuff about that. But from say 1990 through 2006, let's say, or five, those are some of the most reliable cars ever built. And that's coming from a mechanic who works on all makes and models. That and similarly aged Hondas are also very good. Except Hondas did have some transmission issues where the Toyotas pretty much were bulletproof in that era. Yeah, pecan trees, Super B, we were talking about that. Hey, Minnesota Prepper, good to see you, man. Green Acres and Petticoat Junction were my dad's favorites. Find myself watching them. Yeah. What was My Three Sons came on the other morning on Antenna TV when I was up at like 4:30 in the morning and getting ready for the day, and I was like, boy, I remember that from forever ago, right? Andrew Griffin reruns, no doubt. Let's see. Any other Grit fans out there? I just dialed Me TV. I'll be watching. Yeah, I mean, if you haven't ever seen Sven Gulli, that's the guy that does the horror show. He's kind of cheesy, which is what it's supposed to be. He dresses up like a Dracula character, but he tells kind of goofy jokes, and it's a real throwback to the '80s and '70s, man. So I just love it, and it's wholesome fun too. They play scary stuff, but it's not really scary stuff. It's not violent or gory. It's Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein or stuff like that, where it's more cheesy than it is scary. Turbo Omni, haven't seen you in forever, man. Found you live on YouTube, yes sir. Good to see you, man. Uh, um, let's see here. Cat Lover, we have 3 Toyotas. Love them. Rod was a mechanic and said he never worked on Toyotas. Really, honestly, like they were just such reliable vehicles. They come in for maintenance, but they wouldn't usually come in for repairs unless it was just massive neglect. I mean, I can't. You just hardly ever replace like strut assemblies. They just don't go bad, man. Ball joints. They just hardly ever go bad. Maybe in the big trucks occasionally, but I've got my Toyota has probably got 100,000 miles on a set of Toyota ball joints and still trucking along on them. And that's it's just quality stuff. Yeah. Holly man saying he needs to get some of those Spanguli chickens. Yeah, the guy likes to throw rubber chickens around, man. Morgan Russman, good to see you in here, bud. Hey, Eric, I know it was mentioned about 15, 20 minutes ago, but I was born in May of '96, and I've lived through the dot-com bubble, 9/11, and 2008 recession, but those events, for the most part, went over my head. Um, yeah, so, well, and I'll say this. I mean, and this is just my gut saying this, so don't, I'm not a financial person. Don't be listening to me as far as this, but this is definitely, I feel like it's going to be financially a lot worse than the Great Recession. Um, the and there's a lot of reasons for that I just won't even get into here on the show, but I think that the shutting down the world like this is going to cause some serious issues with restarting it. I think things kind of roll on because they just are. I'm not so sure that any one person or any one country really has a firm grasp on what it is that makes this country or the economy work worldwide. And when we shut it down sporadically and in different places and I think it's just going to lead to some serious issues with starting back up. I think we're going to see some food shortages shortly. And And I'm worried. I'm worried for my friends and family, and I'm worried for all of us. I'm worried for the country, and I'm also worried at what that could lead to as far as war, or or worse. I mean, it's just gosh, I wish it was over, man. I pray for it every night that the cure is found or that it just blows over, but it needs to hurry up, or we need to make some tough choices real quick. So. Orangman Good saying his 2011 Ford is very reliable, other than one repair to the AC fan. That was a nightmare. That's good. I've heard some mixed stuff. I mean, Ford's got that weird double clutch transmission, and gosh, and Chevrolet's got some serious problems with the. I mean, I wish that America would pull its head out of its you know what when it comes to building cars, but they just keep doing mistake after mistake. Now they do make some good cars. They make good trucks. They make good vans, stuff like that. But some of these smaller cars, there's a reason they can't compete in the small car markets because they're not building good stuff, man. 69 Flyboy just picked up an MGTD kit car with a 69 VW motor. Love it so far. Awesome, man. Those are awesome. Um, Jordan B saying Apple's Tim Cook thinks we will have a V-shaped recovery. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of folks a lot smarter than me out there who are watching this, and hopefully they are planning our recovery as we speak. Um, 96 Jeep Cherokee with 240,000. Is that inline six? Those things you can't kill. Great vehicle. That's again like every once in a while a manufacturer comes out with a generation of car that just works beautifully. Toyota Camry. People joke about that one. The Toyota's finally recalled like the 1996 Toyota Camry because people really just the recall is that people really just should buy a new car right now. There's nothing wrong with the car. They just ought to buy one, you know. Yeah, Cherokees are great. Rock and Rod, yeah, it is, man. I agree with that. As a woman, Cat Lover says, as a woman, she's a little nervous. Her husband doesn't seem to be. I am. I mean, I try not to be, but I'm a worrier anyway. I'm always planning. Worst case scenario kind of guy. Maybe that's the army. Actually, I'm positive that's the army. You never want to be left unprepared when you're in the army. Usually you wind up dead or somebody else around you does. So you're always thinking of the worst case scenario. You're always thinking of every possibility and trying to come up with solutions to it. And there's certain times in life when there's no solution. So you just prepare the best you can. And that's pretty much what I think what we're all in right now. Wandering Jedi wants to know why they're shutting down the farms. Yeah, man. Well, it's not the farms like that. Dude, it's the whole food chain collapsing because it starts with the meat packing plants having to shut down because they got a lot of illness in them, and then you got farmers who got the pigs they can't sell, and do they face with the realization you have to feed these pigs for another 6 months and wait for these places to open up, or do you cull all these animals, man? And then if you cull them, now the food has just disappeared from the market. And the next step in that is if you decide to feed these animals and hold up for the 6 months that it takes them to reopen everything, what about the grain manufacturers and those farmers? And that stuff's going to go down too. And then we're going to have a feed shortages and we're going to have starving animals on these farms. And so what we're looking at is vegetarianism coming soon because we're going to have to take out that second tier of farming, which is the meat farming. When you grow something, that's one tier. When you feed that to something else, that's the second tier. And so that's the first thing to go. And since no one here in the States has backyard animals anymore, or very few of us do, that's where we're going to have issues. And so that's going to be a big change out for people. It sucks, man. Knowing saying meat shelves at Walmart are 20% stocked, and that's now. Wait 2 or 3 weeks, man. It's just sad, man. Jordan B says got a 2017 Colorado with 11,000 miles on it. So 20. I actually wanted a Colorado. I looked at them. I've been thinking about replacing the T100, and the Colorado is about the same size. I've heard some stuff about the engines. I'm all about like smaller engines because I like good fuel economy. And does yours have that 5-cylinder? What engine is in that? Because I've heard some stuff about some of the engines in there, but I haven't really paid too close of attention to Colorados. They're not very popular around here for some reason. So there we go. Let's see here. Yeah, folks talking about DJT, no doubt. Uh, did lifted full size Blazer right on? Yeah. Those the old like a Chevy V8 or a Ford V8s. Well, I'll say Chevy V8s are pretty reliable. Ford had a whole run of those terrible engines that had isolator bolt issues causing misfires and then eventually blowing up motors, and had the spark plug issues. where you break a plug off, trying to get it out. So I'm going to scratch the Ford off the list. But the old inline six Ford engines, those 300s were awesome. Buick Lucerne with 227, awesome. 3800 engine is like invincible. Minnesota preppers, you're probably aware of that already anyway. But yeah, that 38 is a great 3.8 on the. That's one of the old school engines that they just figured out, man. 28 miles to the gallon on the highway is a surprising number, man. I'm pretty impressed with that. The most miles I put on a truck was a little over 350. It was a 77 Dodge truck with a little 318. Purchased it new in 77. Wow, right on, Adam. I've got 317 or 318 on the T100 right now. Original engine, original trans. Trans certainly is whining, but it shifts perfectly fine. Still pulls. I've still haul cars with it from time to time with a dolly that I picked up. So pretty wild, man. Orange Man could say planting a deer on the farm, not worried about hunting season. The problem with that is that there looks like there's a lot of food out there running around the woods, but the second that people start shooting them out of season, there ain't going to be a lot of food out there real quick. It's going to be sparse. I mean, we damn near wiped out the population of everything here in the United States before we got a handle on hunting seasons in order to understand how animals breed and all the rest. So I do fear for that a little bit myself. Yeah, 5.4 Tritons are junk. Yeah, Tritons. 7.3 Ford's good engine, no doubt. Let's see. Most farmers took crop insurance on June 6th rather than plant late, and over 1 million calves died. Yeah, terrible, man. Hello from Minnesota, brother. Hope you and yours are good. Hello, BLR. Good to see you. I don't think we've talked before. Folks, my voice is starting to go. We got about 10 minutes left, so I'm just going to wrap this up here. You guys throw out your last few questions. I'll throw out my last few words, and we will call this an evening. I want to say this. I always say this, but I want to say it because I mean it. Dusty Bottoms. Toyota Echoes are garbage. How dare you? How dare you? The Toyota Echo is the finest automobile ever created by mankind, especially the 5-speeds, especially the two-door 5-speeds. They're race cars. I think they could honestly give a Corvette a run for the money. Good to see you, Dustin. Let's see here. Yeah, the inline six Jeeps are pretty well invincible. Older Colorados had the 5-cylinder. New one comes with a 4.6. Oh, there's a diesel option. No kidding, huh? You got the 4x4. Yeah, Jordan B got the 4x4. And the T100, Dusty. If we weren't friends. The T100 is the finest truck ever built by mankind. And that's why no one bought them even when they were new. It's because they knew this car is too good for me. That's why people did not buy the T100. They would just looked at it, they took it for a test drive, and they were like, this is far too much of a truck for me. Buick Laporne says he wants more CB radio videos. So I don't know if you were in here, man, but I actually do have 5 CB radios that I got as a lot, so I will be making some new videos on CB, I promise, man. Watch the rerun. Thank you for all the knowledge. Al Martin, compound the lack of wildlife with the influx of city dwellers. Yeah. Yes, on the Bennett saying more radio videos. Everyone wants radio videos. I'll do what I can, my friends. Wandering Jedi wants them too. Calcius, thank you very much for the donation. I really appreciate that. Everyone, thank you so much for coming in and sharing an hour and a half of your light with me. It's been an interesting week. It's not been the best. It's not been the worst. It's certainly been interesting. I hope you all stay safe. James, thanks to you. Have a good night as well. Morgan, second Great Depression. Yeah, I would say that's exactly what I'm fearing right now. I think it's actually going to be considered somewhere, if we survive as a nation, the Greatest Depression. That is what they will refer to it, my friend. Thanks for the stream, everybody. Thank you. Everyone's saying thank you. Appreciate it. Oh, gosh. I know that a lot of y'all are like me. You're probably isolated. Even if you're in town or in an apartment or in a city or wherever you are, you probably miss the interaction you have every day with folks. And so this is an opportunity to get together and have a little interaction, man. So thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for being friends of Farpoint Farms, or as Dallas Ripe says, Farpoint family. There you go. And I'm going to make a shirt for that sometime too. Next time it rains real good. Anyway, I hope you all have a great evening. I hope you all stay safe. And let's do it again next week. Maybe I'll have a chance to do 2 of them next week. All right, folks? But go ahead and hit the old like button if you haven't already. And I will see you all later. See you, Ziga. See you, Noah. See you, Jordan B. See you, Motor Junkie. Good times, good times. Dustin, thanks for coming in and stopping in to insult my fine, fine automobiles. And Lucas, I don't know if you're still out there, but thank you as well. It's good. I need to get up with you and talk to you here this week. As soon as we find out, some news, I would love to share that with you, and we'll finish this thing up. Y'all take care.